Greetings, my fellow survivors. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Stranded Alien Dawn Desertum, Episode 3, Hotshot. What could I be doing with Emmeline and Lara better than what they're currently doing? Lara, I want you to start analyzing this plant. And yeah, I'll start queuing up clothing as well. So, I think, bang for my buck, probably shirts. I will do until I have, let's say, 4 with cloth only. And pants. I'm doing shirts and pants first because you run into penalties of not having shirts and pants. But they're not the most insulating heat or cold protecting clothing, but they're a mood clothing. So it will be good for our mood to have that stuff. And Simon will start queuing that up now to build up his crafting skill. Because when I unlock, and you're right, thanks for reminding me, when I unlock the electronics crafting, I'm going to need crafting skill built up from making the clothing to be able to even make the electronics. And they're all going to sleep, so I'll let Lara free. But you can see that now that I have a bunch of recreation items, there's fun things to do, and she's about to get a food variety bonus and about to get a exquisite meal bonus, and it really helps to keep them happy, to keep the mood swings and the like avoided. HK, thanks for the resub. Glad to see my face again. I appreciate it. I'm not in fighting form, but good enough. I think at this point I can also edit their food restrictions to not include the emergency meals and to leave the emergency meals for emergencies, because the emergency meals here do not decay without freezers, right? They have an infinite under roof shelf life, and that will force them to eat made meals, and made meals actually keep them happier, so more bang for my buck. And they're going to be relaxed, and they're about to have a bunch of bonuses here. So quick meal, exquisite meal, enjoyed beverage, pain-killing tea, food variety, creature comforts. All good stuff. Something else that I could throw together with Quinn. Oh, no, not yet. I don't have the research. I'll take it back. I lied. All right, Lara, back to your 2-plant observation. Simon has a crafting skill pushing towards 3. He'll get there. I don't really care about insufficient space. Researching pickling could also be good, and winemaking. We can make wine out of those tea balls as well. Wine is the tea to wine ratio is 100:5. The tea balls to wine ratio, I should say. And the tea balls to tea ratio is 20:5. So it's way more efficient to get a mood bonus out of making tea ball tea rather than tea ball wine. So only make tea ball wine if you have a true abundance of tea balls. And there we go. Heptagonia, which is syrup. Does, I forget the shelf life of Heptagonia. So I think what I'm going to do, I think it has an infinite shelf life on shelves, but I'm going to harvest just a little bit of it in case it does decay. I forget, because I don't want an abundance of it if it decays. This is what happened if you Sims and RimWorld had a baby? Yes. Well, yeah. I agree. Soldering bench. Okay, and then the big thing is crafting 4. So the electronics requires a skill of crafting 1, so it's relatively easy, but you really want to make electronics when there's a no-fail, because failing at electronics, given its silicon and metal alloys cost, is very expensive to screw up. So building your crafting skill is important. I would say the initial survivor team composition is pretty important. If you have really bad initial survivors that don't have skills like building, crafting, research, you're going to have a hard time. The other thing I'm going to queue up at the after I make those things are fur caps, which requires leathers. So what that means, because I want to have warm clothing for the winters, because the winters get pretty bitter cold. That means I'm going to have to go hunting humped animals for their leathers. So I should start to do that with Emmeline as well, when she's not busy cooking. Do I have any sweet syrup yet? No, I don't think I do. Can I tell you some of the major dangers of this biome? Hypothermia and resource scarcity early on, requiring you to be careful about how much wood you use, because there's not a lot of trees. And the game, for defenses, has wooden defenses and concrete defenses. So if you're used to relying on a bunch of wooden walls and wooden towers and wooden whatever, you're going to have to rethink your defensive stuff. Because I would say mental breaks are another big risk, but that was true of the other map as well. But temperature and resource scarcity is the name of the game here. So syrups. There we go, and that will open up some additional options for cooking. Let me find that here. So that would be other, and it has infinite shelf life under a roof, so it will be stored on these metal shelves out here. Chef recipe, sweet meat bites, which takes oils, syrup, and meat. Sounds good to me. Let's make until we have 4 of them. That will be a chef delicacy. And then I might want to force Simon to start crafting electronics. So I'm going to get him... I'm forcing him now. And I have so much fuel right now that I'm just going to not even bother with the fuel. So here's the first electronics trip. I should have probably been a little bit faster in queuing that up, but whatever. Not a big penalty to do it a little slower. Hot air balloon. How's our current clothing? Fine. And electronics are done. Well, one of them. What is the positive of having pawns that are relatives? I don't know, actually. I think maybe a change in their relationship so they get more along and have better interactions with one another. If you take a look here, You can't have romantic relationships, and there's a huge boon if you do have a romantic relationship. So, for instance, Emmeline doesn't really care much for Simon or Quinn. Lara really likes Simon. Simon kind of is with Lara. Simon really likes Quinn. Quinn really likes Simon. You know, the better the relationship between your characters, the less insults and fighting that you'll have. So that's probably the biggest driver of relationships. But I haven't noticed that it's a developed system yet because it's pretty early in the development. So I don't think it ultimately matters all that much. Other than, like, you probably can't have relationships with relatives. Like, that's probably the biggest thing. And maybe a bit of a bonus to starting our relationship values. A shooting star expedition. I won't be doing that initially. So, I want to... I'm still working on getting that freezer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop pickling and queue up freezers and then energy storage. And then after freezers and energy storage, I need to go on some expeditions to get CPU cores. So I'll queue up concrete fortifications and spaceship deconstruction in the meantime, but I'll probably not even do that. I'll probably end up getting CPU core research first. But look at these moods. These moods are high. We are in good spirits. Beds look like a pile of stone covered in blankets. You would be correct. There's not a penalty for the different types of beds, whether it's metal, wood, or stone. And stone is an abundant material here, so might as well go for stone. You idiots. Sorry, Emmeline, for taking you out of your recreation time. There's two dumb raptors that stepped into the fire and is now hostile. Rip you guys. Stepping into the flamethrowers with your own people will hurt. It won't be as fatal to them as it is... fatal to your colonists as it is to the animals. You'll just get a little burned, but, like, avoid it. Alright, Quinn. Once we get the freezers going, Quinn's gonna go on the expedition. I've just been slow on the freezers. Partially because Simon's just been grinding up some clothing. I think what I'm going to do... what is your crafting skill at now? Oops, I keep clicking the wrong thing. Sorry, I was looking at other tasks. Or other... So his crafting's at 4, just entered 4. Okay, I'm going to pull him off of that for now, so that he can help me research freezers to get this, the progress moving. And Quinn is gonna repair this fence, not that it's damaged much. And then get back to research as well. What's Lara doing? Scavving. That works. I am also out of stone. Because I concreted all the stone that I had. Oops. No, that was still working. But, Lara, instead of scavenging, I'm going to go have you mine some stone again. Or not, yeah, again. There we go. 220. That was quick. Again, I probably got overzealous and queued up way more than I needed. That's probably enough. And lowering the priority for Emmeline so that she prioritizes handling and cooking over mining. It looks like we're about to get freezers. No! You're killing me. Quinn, just go back to research. Drop what you were doing. Finish it up. So there it is. Freezer. And for the freezer, I need one more electronic. Simon is already assembling it. And first thing tomorrow morning, Quinn is going to go on expeditions. So stock the freezer and explore. And that way the insufficient storage space won't be an issue. So the purpose of the exploration is to trigger CPU core research, which is a big... it's one of the major requirements to make additional progress. Does he need a gun for exploring? No. When you explore, there are some events that might get him hurt, but he doesn't really have any combat skill anyway. The reason I'm sending him on explorations is he is an explorer, so he loves going explorations, and they take, or expeditions I should say, and they take less time. But he's actually not well suited for a lot of them, because a lot of them have combat events, and it helps to be a good fighter. And he actually doesn't like fighting, but I sent him anyway, because generally speaking, it doesn't actually benefit you all that much fighting in the explorations anyway. You might get a few more resources out of them, but you'll also get hurt, so... Okay, so expedition. I'm not going to go on the shooting star. I'm actually just going to do the generic explorer. And off he goes. Bye, Quinn. And when he gets home, if no one else can do it, he'll be able to assemble the freezer. I know, I forget. I forget what skill you need for it, but exploration complete. I detected one of the ship's data storage devices. Sure, let's go there. And it's done. So we get hay sausage recipe. Yeah, I'm not going to be using that. I don't want to eat hay. Also, hay is not an abundant resource on this map tile anyway. I was like, cool, a breakthrough! And then it was a breakthrough for eating cattails. Yeah! Never bite a cattail. Never, never bite a cattail. Ah, aggressive animals. Well, if there's aggressive animals down here, let's cancel the mining, because I don't want to go running down there and get murked. And we'll just encourage the... we'll just murder the animals with flamethrowers. And I believe I have all the electronics required to make the freezer, so it's coming together now. Glorious! Okay, now that that's done, the activity for everybody is going to be to deliver, except for Quinn, who's going to go back to research. So Quinn is working on energy storage so I can have a battery, which would be nice. And everyone is throwing the meals and food into the freezer. And then anything that is about to rot, I don't eat raw insect meat, so that doesn't really matter, but anything else that's about to rot, I can throw away by right-clicking to prohibit it from being a... No, Simon, don't do that. Don't do that, dude. Go help research. He was running to the bugs to transport stone. Okay, Emmeline, come back. We have got combat event. So I'm going to draft her, have her at the top of the steps, and buggy flambe. Every now and then what will end up happening is they will mistrigger and not come in the main gate, and you could just... No, what are you doing? You can just finish them off, the stragglers. Oh, you idiots. Later. But it's good to force everybody into tasks indoors so that they stay out of trouble. So, like, go play darts, Lara. Alright, and that's... Nope, they broke a wall. I'll fix that. Emmeline will get a little hurt here. It's fine. I'll even have Lara join. And is that it? No, there's one more. I'm not really worried about the damage to the stone structure because I have plenty of stone to be able to replace it. Didn't want them running inside, though. So Quinn. Yep. Quinn is going to be repairing. It's pretty cheap to repair your stuff. Eventually, what I'm planning on doing is, when I get the research, getting concrete fortifications and putting a concrete wall around the... Hey, dude. Repair. Put a concrete wall around the home so that I don't have damage like this. But another thing is I'm going to have automated turrets be able to, you know, manage most of that anyway, so it's kind of a non-issue in the long run. Those bugs just did more damage than I expected them to because I wasn't really micromanaging it all that well. Luckily, the mood was high enough that it didn't really bother anyone either. Normally, I would be butchering... Well, actually, yeah, let's butcher them for the oils. Because I can cook with the bug meat. Well, they did more damage than I thought. They even hurt the roof. It's some of that is just because they came at an angle which was opposite the entrance. So the bugs got to break more stuff than they normally would have. But now we have an enclosed structure, and I'm repairing the beds that need repair. Cool. Oops. Good. I think everything's back. Except for the armchair and the light bulb. But he's earned some sleep, so we're going to have him rest. How'd they damage the lamp? I think they just destroyed the roof section over the lamp, and that caused the destruction. Wasn't he just sleeping? Why is his rest 22%? What were you doing in bed? Oh, phrasing, maybe? Too late. Okay, we're, let me zoom out and just drag a... No, we're all repaired. They're back to double research. And right now the bottleneck is just alloys from scrap. We have 260 scrap, but I think it might be time for Simon to go observe the ore so that I can stop relying on scrap for metals. Because that's a resource that is not infinite. The other thing I might want to do is to have Emmeline, once she's done doing a little bit of cooking, probably not at night, so I'm going to cancel that, but to have her start to hunt the dromedaries. Specifically the dromedaries for their hides, because leather is an important resource, especially when you want to make winter clothing. And right now I have 19 leather, which is not even enough for a hat. What do the cacti yield? It depends on the cactus. The only ones I've analyzed so far are the barrel cactuses, which gives cactus fruits. I haven't analyzed the other ones. I'll get around to that eventually when I feel the need to have that resource, but I don't need that resource yet. I just don't want to spoil it. Stuff. Each plant does yield something. There aren't any plants that are, like, worthless. You know, the tall grass is close to worthless, but not fully worthless. But I'll get around to it. All right, we're starting to get cold. Let me turn on the heater again. I forgot to do that. That will help, because it's -1 indoors. There it is. Now it's somewhat warmer. Make sure everybody's working tasks that I want worked. Changing the activities to not have super high priority delivery. All right, looks good. Simon's making chips. And what is Quinn researching again? Energy storage? Yeah, we want that. Energy storage requires 5 electronics, so it's gonna be a little while until I have the electronics to be able to afford that, unless we salvage it from ship debris. But that actually brings me to another thing. Because we have so much ship debris here, I'm actually going to shift to spaceship deconstruction, because deconstructing a spaceship gives you a higher chance to get nicer resources like electronics and CPU cores and things like that. So getting that research under my belt might be useful. Also looks like I am out of tea. And now that I have a freezer and shelves for it, I'll go ahead and grab that tea with Lara, because that's a really good mood boost. Doing a quick health check here. Everyone's in tip-top shape. Emmeline's even euphoric, which is nice. Yes. Is there any left on the ground? I think she got it all. Cool. There's one more tree, but I only want to make one trip, so that's fine. How much heptagonia do I have? 210? Yeah, no, I don't need any more of that. What's really important is that you don't over-harvest, because if you over-harvest, what you end up doing is filling your freezer with probably resources that you don't necessarily want. It, like, fills the slots up. So it would be really bad for me to go, ooh, cactus, and go harvest like 2,000 cactus, because I'm not going to really have a use for it, and I'll need to store it, or I'll need to rot. So it's, you know, issuing manpower to harvest something that you don't end up using is a waste of time and effort. So just avoid it when you can. Burning cruise vessel. Oh, that's worth a look. Let's do that. So the current priority now is to unlock CPU cores. And that happens in time after you do some expeditions. You'll have an epiphany that you can research it. It's a little weird. But that's what we'll do. Another thing that I might be able to do is I have some shirts. So anyone in a t-shirt, like Simon, can switch out to a full shirt to get a little warmer. It actually only looks like Simon is the one that needs that, so never mind. What other clothing do I have? I forget. I made t-shirts. I don't even think I made any pants. So, Emmeline, today, you are gonna try to take down Camel Joe. A bunch of Camel Joes. Wouldn't be terrible for me to get weaponsmithing research as well. The initial bows and crossbows are pretty garbage, which is why I didn't bother. But eventually weaponsmithing leads to laser pistols and railgun snipers. So there's a reason to get weaponsmithing at some point. Alright, Quinn, you want to check out the burning vessel? Tally-ho. Off you go. Oh, this humped animal's about to get jumped. No, it didn't. Really thought that those reptiles were gonna intervene. So this is also useful for the meat. I do have a little bit of dried meat, but it's mostly for the leathers, so that I can craft winter clothing. And then Lara is also harvesting the cloth blossom that has been ready to be harvested for a while, but just so that I have the material built up for winter. Over here at the drying rack, I just set it to retrieve, so that will allow Emmeline, when she wants to make something with raw meat, be able to pull raw meat from the drying rack. In fact, I had turned raw meat... Well, now that I have a freezer, I'm not even going to dry my meats. Flamethrower does not do anything to flying mobs. So right now I have a big vulnerability if flying mobs want to mess with me. I recognize the shapes of a cruise ship, or at least what's left of it in Monstrous Crash. So I'm going to waste no time and look for survivors. And someone named Han has joined me. My lungs filled with smoke, but we found Han. And here he is. Coming back on the blimp with me. So he's going to need a bed. And that's a little tricky. I'm going to move the punch pole outside, because it doesn't really need to be inside. And then I'll be able to squeeze a bed in there. So I'm going to move the... Or, let's see. Put the T-shelf there, and we'll fit him in. So he is a master hunter. He has a 25% chance to deal a kill shot when hunting prey that is, and if the prey is unaware, it's 100%. But he really likes entertainment, which is fine because I have a base full of entertainment. And he really likes armchairs, which I have one. So with that known, I guess Han's gonna shoot first, right? Maybe that's the joke. It probably is, I'd imagine. So put him on hunting. Take him off of harvest and plant, because that is a Lara task. He is interested in scavenging, so I'll put him on scavenging and mining, because he likes it. Take him off of cooking entirely, because he hates it. Take him off of craft. Assemble and tailor, because he's no good at it. And put him on low priority observe and research, because he's no good at it. And then the new shelf is going to be basically this shelf moved over. And I think I have too many T-balls, looking at that. Given that I have freezer space, I'm actually going to move my T-balls into the freezer, even though they don't need to be frozen, just because I can store them in there better than this shelf, which is completely full, and it prevents tea from being stored. New insect nest. Oh, fun. I'm actually aiming to take on an insect nest, by the by. We'll get to that for sure. Because there's a really good resource to be gained from that. It's warning me that I don't have any more sticks for the furnace. So Lara, cut some sticks. And Simon, deliver the punching pole. There we go. Here is Han. So Emmeline, you are going to drop your pistol, and Han will grab it. Because he likes shooting things. Right, Quinn is gonna set up that new bed. So I need to empty this out right away. Which is easy to do. Unless everyone goes to sleep. I'm just forcing him to work so that I can get another bed. His head's going to be next to the compressor of the freezer. Luckily, there's no penalty for that. And Han, what are you even doing? You're like salvaging? Oh, you're hauling leathers. Perfect. That's what I would want you to do. Yeah, he's a pretty good, decent addition. Most of the survivors have their own individual perks that are really powerful. So there's his bed. It is now Han Tae's bed. Everyone owns a bed. And going back to schedule, Quinn is no longer going to be forced to work. I do at some point want to have dedicated bedrooms. That is coming. It's just not urgent because nobody's had a mental break so far, so it's not something that matters at the moment. But it's going to be really nice to have a dedicated hunter. And one who's amazing at it. Like, very, very good. Oh! Kill shot. And kill shot. Oh my god, it's like... He's too good. This is ridiculous. There we go. We have a master hunter. Alright, so what am I researching again? Spaceship deconstruction. That's going to be really important because Han really likes to salvage, and I'm running out of things to salvage. So I'm going to leave that up. The broadleafs could be inspected, and that would allow me to plant them, but given that there's a lot of those bushes around, I don't need to spend the time doing that. I still need to spend the time analyzing the ore, and Simon is heading there now to do it. Quinn, what are you working on? You're transporting sticks? So guess what, buddy? You are going on another expedition. We're going to send you to the cruise... ship debris again. See if there's some magic that we could find. That's probably enough sticks for now, so cancel that. Because I just really want to unlock those CPU cores. That's the big order of business. I think that we have a lot of hides curing. Only 70? All right, let me get more humped animals then. Because once Simon's done with the ore, trying to get all the materials that we need for winter clothing is going to be important, especially given that we have now a 5th person to clothe. Whoa! Spaceship falling debris. So 90% into the ores. Good. For batteries, I actually have enough resources, but given that the diesel generator generates kind of a constant production of power, it's not that urgent. I should probably add one, but it's also just one more thing to potentially break down. So scrap metal and a sealed crate with ale. Oh. Okay. Well, that works for me. Meat pie. This is our first meat pie. And we discovered the ore. Perfect. So, 12 ore deposits. Oh, that's nice. That's pretty rich. There's also a little bit of silicon ore over here, but I still have 40 of it from my initial, and this silicon leaf field is 82% grown, so I'm going to hold off on analyzing it until I absolutely need it. Thank you for watching Stranded Alien Dawn Desertum, which originally streamed live on Twitch December 12th and December 13th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rotomont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my gaming community, Rotomont.com also has a link to Discord, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. I hope you enjoyed this series, and I hope to catch you in an upcoming series or an upcoming stream. Thank you so very much for watching. Farewell.